With Newcastle United reportedly set for a financial takeover, here is the ugly truth behind the potential deal. What's up, everybody? Jacob Espria here with Amateur Hour Sports, where we give you raw and unfiltered sporting content Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So if it is your first time here with me today, make sure you subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports right now to stay up to date with the future content coming your way very soon. It's no secret that Newcastle United fans have suffered greatly in the 13 years under the rule of Mike Ashley. And it seems like there is a lot of traction in this potential financial takeover by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. Mike Ashley said about 3 years ago in 2017 that he wanted to sell Newcastle United, but he hasn't been able to find a suitable buyer for the club since then. And the club has really struggled, like I said, under Mike Ashley. He has lacked to show any sort of ambition for the club, whether it be through his investments or for his care for the fans. He attempted to demonstrate his disliking for the fans by changing the name of their beloved St. James Park to Sports Direct Arena. Ultimately, that didn't happen, but he tried at least. So now it potentially seems like Newcastle United are at the shining light at the end of the tunnel. A brand new set of owners, ones who have copious amounts of money to spend on whoever which player they want. But here is the ugly reality about this potential financial takeover. In a deal reported to be worth about £300 million, a purchase may be imminent from the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, which is headed by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia is second in command, and because Mohammed bin Salman's father has Alzheimer's and he cannot really assume his authority in command of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman is the most powerful figure inside of the country. The Public Investment Fund is said to be worth about £260 billion. Just as a base for comparison, right now the richest owner in the Premier League is Man City owner Sheikh Mansour, who is worth about £8 billion. So the potential new Newcastle ownership would absolutely blow that money out of proportion. It would be inconceivable money coming into a Premier League organization. But now let's get into the dark details about this move. There have been a lot of controversies and immoralities associated with the Saudi Arabian government in recent history. This is a government that not too long ago had capital punishment enforceable on children, and also a government that tortured women human rights activists who were merely protesting to be allowed to drive in the country. Along with that, there is a very poor human rights record within Saudi Arabia. So just going off that information, it seems like it would be a bit of a stain on the Premier League and the FA if they were to allow this takeover to take place, because at the end of the day, it's on them whether they allow it or not. It seems like all of the pieces are in place for this deal to go through. It's just up to the Premier League to allow it to happen. Some further information about the Saudi Arabian government is that it is likely they had influence on the 2018 murder of Saudi Arabian reporter Jamal Khashoggi. The Saudi columnist was killed inside the Saudi Arabian consulate in Turkey 2 years ago, and his fiance recently wrote to the Premier League urging them not to allow this transaction to go through because the government apparently had a large involvement within the murder, and apparently there is credible evidence against Mohammed bin Salman for having connections within the murder. There were multiple members of the Saudi Arabian parliament arrested in relation to this murder, although Mohammed bin Salman denies he had any sort of involvement within the murder. There is some evidence that suggests he was a part of it. The FA has a rule that anybody who has a record of something that would be considered an offense inside of England cannot be involved within the FA. And well, this would be a breach of that regulation, because it seems like Mohammed bin Salman, who would be the head of the organization taking control of Newcastle, has been involved in some things that would be considered an offense inside England. Therefore, it could be perceived as morally wrong for the Premier League to allow this takeover to take place. Former Yorkshire resident Amanda Staveley, who has lots of ties within large Middle Eastern wealth funds, helped orchestrate the purchase of Man City back at the end of the 2000s. And now she seems to be a part of the group that is taking control of Newcastle, as the ownership would give her a 10% stake in helping orchestrate the deal. The Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund would take about 80%, and an English investment corporation would take about 10%. But in the past, Mike Ashley has said that any meeting he's had with Amanda Staveley, who has helped orchestrate a purchase of Newcastle in the past, has been a waste of time. In this scenario, however, it looks like the pieces are in play. Like I said, everything is set, the terms have been agreed, it is all in the Premier League to allow it to go through. And I've seen a lot of movement on social media regarding this Newcastle takeover, and there's a lot of support for it coming from Newcastle fans, and I think that a lot of it is just that they're a bit in the dark as to the details around the Saudi Arabian government and the team taking control of their club. English fans constantly complain about how the heart and soul and passion of football clubs is deteriorating and going away, and I think that this would go even further away, and this is especially for Newcastle fans. What really keeps the club going in all this turmoil they've suffered over the last decade is the heart and soul of the fans, and I think that they rely on themselves as the heart of the club to keep it going forward. And I think this would be numerous steps back if they were to support and accept this regime taking over their own football club. It would look really bad upon the Premier League for allowing this organization or group to take over Newcastle United. I understand that Newcastle fans who are maybe looking towards a brighter future of buying any sort of player that they want, given the amount of money that this group has, but you have to look at it from a moral standpoint if this is okay, and I think that this would look really bad upon everybody involved if it were to go through. It is not unlike big government organizations to get involved within sport to alleviate the negative connotations associated with their government. It's similar to the way Russia hosted the 2016 Olympics as well as the 2018 World Cup. By showcasing yourselves at such a major event and with such a high degree of success at the 2018 World Cup, it assumes more happy connotations towards your government and alleviates those negative ones. Obviously, we know a lot about the negative associations that Russia has on the modern world. This is a similar scenario in which the Saudi Arabian government, who has been a part of so much controversy and immorality in the past, they are trying to get themselves involved with a more happy connotation, which is the world of sport, and taking over Newcastle, the biggest league in the world, the Premier League, getting themselves right in the thick of that. And right now it is working to a certain degree as everybody is distracted from the negative associations from the government and are more focused on Newcastle buying Kylian Mbappe. These are all factors that need to be considered and taken into play for this financial takeover. If it was up to me, I would not allow this sort of thing to go through. I think it would be a huge stain on the FA to allow such a thing to happen. And it would be a bit hypocritical of the Newcastle fan who is so concerned about the passion and heart and soul of the club to allow this sort of thing to go through, pushing football further towards commercialism rather than what it used to be, simply about the drive and passion for the game. Comment down below what you think about this transaction and if the Premier League should allow it to go through. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like the video if you like and subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports right now to stay up to date with the future content coming your way. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. At the end of the day, I believe what I say, and if you disagree, that is okay. See you again next time.